Thank you. You may please be seated. I was told actually that my task is the easiest here, and I fully do agree, because I will be calling various speakers to come to the fore, and then we do the most important part thereafter. Slight change to our program is that we don't have the acting dean, but the department has nominated one of their own to come forward to do some welcomings and introductions. Professor Libelo, can we call upon you, sir?
Good evening, Program Director. All protocols observed, our DVCs, executive directors who are in this place, all the professors who are here, and all colleagues. Welcome to this evening where we, as the program director has already mentioned, we are here to listen to the expertise of one of our colleagues in the name of Professor Zuva. You are welcome. That's the only thing I can say. I'm here to also introduce Professor Zuva. Professor Tranos Zuva is a full professor of computer sciences and faculty research professor in the Faculty of Applied and Computer Sciences at the Vaal University of Technology in South Africa. He is also the MICT SITA Fourth Industrial Revolutionalist or Revolution Research Chair and the Gauteng Node Branch Chair of the International Institute of Theoretical and Computational Sciences, which is NITEX. Professor Zuva holds a doctorate in computer sciences and data processing from Tshwane University of Technology and MBA from Tshwane University of Technology, a Master's of Science in Computer Science from the National University of Sciences in Technology, Zimbabwe, a Master of Education in Mathematics from the University of Jesu Verona in Cuba, and a Bachelor of Science Honors degree in Mathematics from University of Zimbabwe. I thought I was the only one in mathematics. Hence, we were able to publish a paper together. And that paper, it was somehow recognized by let's say Sci-Forum. They said we should make a video, and they've arranged for everything. Thank you. My sincere apologies also to all the deans who are here. I forgot to say you are welcome. And all of you who are supporting, you are very, very important. I'm not done with introducing you. His research interests include mobile computing, computer vision, recommender system, data mining, and information system. He has published extensively in local and international journals and conferences, supervised numerous masters and doctoral students, and actively contributes to advancing research capacity and digital innovation in the context of the fourth industrial revolution. Welcome, everyone, and you are honored today, Professor Zuva. Thank you, Program Director.
Prof. Thank you so much for standing in at short notice on behalf of the faculty. And we're also pleased that actually the faculty is here, the colleagues, just to support one of their own. I think the next step really is that Professor Zuva, you know, not only has he more than 30 years experience in higher education, but he has distinguished himself in computer science, not only in this country, but in the continent and internationally. So his peers hold him in highest regard. And what Prof. Libelo was mentioning is that also the impact of the work that they do is work that is recognized by peers. I don't want to spoil the party. Let's allow and give an invite and welcome Prof. Zuva to the podium to deliver his address. He will deliver his address, and also before that, to also thank Prof. Zuva's wife, because we know it's not always easy, you know, we need this support, and that she has made time to come and be part of this. His success, as we know, is the family's success. Over to you, Prof.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. I would want to honor my DVC, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Speech Nerang, members of the executive, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, students. I can see some of my students here, and members of my family. I just want to say, this table you can see, that's my family. And my kids, I'm happy that they are here today so that they can try to surpass what I've done, which will be a very difficult thing, but I wish them the best. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today to deliver my inaugural professorial lecture. This occasion represents not only my personal milestone, but also a reflection of a collective journey shaped by mentorship, collaboration, institutional support. This is true. When I came here, I met my DVC before he became a VC, and he was so supportive. I wouldn't be here without him, because he said, whatever you want, please tell me, I'll support you. So thank you very much. That's institutional support and the many students whose intellectual curiosity continues to inspire my work. My academic journey spans more than 30 years, beginning in mathematics and evolving into computer science, artificial intelligence, information systems. Throughout this journey, I've maintained committed to 3 interconnected pillars. And these are knowledge creation, capacity development, societal impact. And they form my speech today. These pillars are not independent. Rather, they form a mutually reinforcing ecosystem that defines the purpose of the modern academia. So my talk today is built upon building knowledge, capacity, and impact in the 4th Industrial Revolution. And the talk will be arranged as follows. I will not go through that. But the 4th Industrial Revolution is something that is something new, that people are saying, what is this animal before us? All along, this is the research that we've been doing with my students. I always tell my students that I'm old. You are the ones who are supposed to write the papers. I tell you, we discuss and we publish. This problem of 4AR, we can also see from other countries, as this next video that you will see, from a US Senate who said this.
Artificial intelligence and robotics will impact our economy, our democracy, our privacy rights, our emotional well-being, our environment, and even our very survival as human beings on this planet. The scale, scope, and speed of this transformation will be unprecedented.
You can hear that it is not us, probably people will say it is happening in developing countries. That's why we are afraid about it. Even where the technology is starting from, they are afraid of it. And we need to embrace it. What is this animal 4AR? 4AR as popularized by SWAB 2016, represents a convergence of technologies that blur the boundaries between physical, digital, and biological worlds. Unlike the previous industrial revolution, which were driven by mechanization and digitalization, 4IR is characterized by intelligent systems capable of learning, adapting, and making decisions. Technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, blockchain, and cloud computing are transforming economies, governments, governance structures, and human interaction. So what is it all about? when physical and digital converge, what do we have? We have smart factories where robots can autonomously produce services and products with minimum help from human beings. So the fear comes that if now the factories require very few people, where will be the others without jobs? I'm saying we'll see. Biological and digital converge. I think most of us here are already in 4IR, in the sense that I wear my smartwatch that measures my blood pressure. Do I need a doctor? I can see what is happening within me wherever, anywhere I am. Then we have the physical and biological integration. There are some people who have got pacemakers in their hearts, and they are surviving today. So already, we have embraced 4IR. But where we are going with 4IR is what scares us. Just imagine you start to ask for a transport to go to Joburg, and the car comes on its own, takes you to Joburg. You want to feed yourself, the robot cooks and feeds you. That's scary, I think. It might be coming from me to say it's scary, but let's see if there are people who agree that it's scary. We'll see from the next video.
It's a scary time to be a new graduate, especially when a senator is outright warning about sky-high unemployment rates in the next 2 years due to potential employers turn to artificial intelligence instead. Right now, the class of 2026 is just about to put on their caps and gowns and grab their well-deserved diplomas. But AI is threatening to snatch their jobs before they've even secured them.
So, are we saying today there is no need for people to graduate because you don't have jobs? Or we have another way of embracing 4IR and be part of it in an ethical way. Thus, 4IR is not only a technological shift, it is a societal transformation. So the technologies that in all this, you will find out that we have job displacement, skills obsolescence because the robots can do it, loss of privacy and algorithmic bias, and growing inequality. In third world countries, the inequality gap, the divide widens. What are we going to do with this? Are we going to discard and say we don't want 4AR? Or we embrace it? So you can see there is a promise. I say it's a promise because it's yet to come. we can leapfrog some development that developed countries went through. At one time, we were saying there is no need to go to the rural areas and start building schools. Because imagine if every child can learn in their home places, digitally, and education is tailor-made for the child. You don't need the buildings that the developed countries went through. And we did it during COVID. People stayed at home, and we've got graduates that did their studies from home. So we embraced 4IR. But the problem is, in developing countries, widening of existing socioeconomic inequalities. They haven't started to adapt to this era. Algorithmic biases. So you can see there is the promise, and we have the side where we fear that, especially in developing countries, third world countries, just like South Africa. I think the image really shows you the difference. Up to this time, some students are still reading books, while others are reading and searching. They know already how to search because they are using devices, technological devices. So now we have got digital rich and digital poor people. But we always say no one should be left behind. This raises a fundamental question. How do we harness intelligent systems to drive inclusive, ethical, sustainable development? This question is the question that have shaped much of my work, to try to see how we harness intelligent systems to drive inclusiveness, ethical, and sustainable development. So knowledge creation. Knowledge creation in the 4IR must be both theoretically grounded and empirically validated. My scholarship has been informed by socio-economic system theory, which emphasizes that the technological systems must be aligned with organizational structures and human behavior. This perspective has guided my research in digital transformation and technology adoption, particularly with the developing contexts, where infrastructural and cultural constraints shape system outcomes. In the field of information system, foundational models such as technology acceptance models, I think you see, technology acceptance models, the utauti, the highlights the technological success depends not only on the system functionality, not on this, because usually we come up with systems and forget the human side. We can buy computers, we can buy everything, but if we haven't measured the perceptions of the people who are supposed to use the technology, I can tell you nothing comes out. It is important that when we do the research, we align both the functionality and the human and institutional behavior. Furthermore, in the era of data-driven intelligence, machine learning methodologies and predictive modeling frameworks enable institutions enable institutions to transition from reactive to proactive. In most cases, especially now, I think service delivery in municipalities, when there is no water, you know that there is problem of a pipe burst. But with this 4IR technology, this can be seen before. Imagine when you start repairing something because people don't have water, you buy at any price. Very expensive. But if you have foreseen that it will happen, you can secure those things before the time. So the time of repair is reduced. My research contribution spans multiple domains, including artificial intelligence, I think they've said it, recommender systems, cybersecurity, mobile computing, data mining, information system. My scholarly outputs, as you can see, as much as I've always said to my students, after you have written, I help you to be like me in next 5 years. You help me to be known. Because people today, they talk about me, they don't talk about the students who did the job. So I thank you very much. We have published more than 200 papers in international and local journals. And we have received 3,000 plus citations showing our strong international research presence. In reality, I have supervised more than 60 students, postgraduate students, masters and PhDs. So during this period, they were writing. This contribution reflects a sustained commitment to advancing both theoretical knowledge and practical solutions, particularly within African and developing contexts. Under what condition is in Africa and within African and developing contexts. Let's see how we deal with this capacity development, capacity humans, my students, lecturers, and colleagues, my colleagues. While technology continues to evolve rapidly, the most important infrastructure remains human capital. Capacity development, particularly through postgraduate education and research supervision, is a critical mechanism for national development. Each master's and doctoral graduate contributes to the creation of intellectual capital and strengthening of research ecosystem. Over the course of my academic career, I have supervised more than 60 postgraduate students working on topics such as artificial intelligence. So what I am calling my research area, those are the research areas of the students that I accept in my research group. Thus, capacity development must be viewed as a strategic investment in the future. Because these are the people who then take the research forward, who then takes the university or the country forward, and making sure that the 4IR technologies are inclusive and ethically used.
AI agents are replacing roles in coding, legal research, and market analysis. The grunt work that used to be the rite of passage for every new hire is being automated away. So, what consequences are we already seeing? Let's be clear, a lot of AI doomsday headlines like this one are marketing. Tech companies want AI agents to handle tasks like ad spend optimization and content moderation at a fraction of the cost of humans. What can you do? So, is the career ladder gone? No, but the first step might look very different. To survive and thrive, you have to stop executing and start managing. AI agents can be extremely effective, but tests show they can make catastrophic decisions when interacting with other agents. That means a human must stay in the loop. Here's how you make yourself that human. AI is only as good as the context it's given. You set the strategy and the why. Agents handle the how. AI lacks empathy, the ability to negotiate well, and ethics. Lean into the skills only humans bring to the table. And don't compete with the agent. Learn to manage them. Bottom line, the entry-level job is not dead, but it is about to change dramatically. You don't start as an intern, but as the manager of 1,000 digital interns. So, prepare yourself.
This one was for my students. Prepare yourselves. You need to prepare yourself because the 4IR technology is here. If you are still programming, AI can do that today. I've seen students, they come and say, I'm still programming, and I'm thinking, no, you don't belong here. You're supposed to talk to AI nicely, and they will do the job for you. Manage your AI to do the job for you. I know we are talking, are we supposed to use AI? That's the question that is people are discussing, and I'm telling them you will be left behind if you don't learn how to use AI. I've got one very good example. I went to Stellenbosch. These professors, they were saying Microsoft approached them for their battery, for the phones, and we said, first, you know, us, we believe that they've worked so hard to get there. But they said, we know what a battery is made of. AI knows how the battery is made of. We continued asking AI with periodic table. And it continued suggesting to say, these are the properties. It means if you try, for them, they were just in the lab and doing what AI was telling them. until they find out, yes, we found something that is better than what is in existence. And companies already, Microsoft, they were ready to say, we want it. Then you come now to someone who asks you, where did you get this idea? AI. No. AI, no, no, no. Because they want you to suffer trying to get something that AI can do. The time that you then find your solution, 10 years down the line, people are gone. And I have brought another thing, that as jobs are being taken away from us through AI, because everybody wants a job, but you can be an entrepreneur. And they say, where do I get the ideas? AI. Uses of AI for startups and entrepreneurs, I couldn't leave it. AI can help generate, refine, and validate business ideas. Identify market gaps using data analysis, generate business concepts and product ideas, simulate what-if scenarios before investing your money. If you still belong to third IR, please, let's move. It's time for us to move. And this is what I'm teaching to my students to say. Give a template to AI. Think. Give the template to AI. AI gives you the rest. If you are ahead by being able to write a template for AI, now it is the time you don't need to do. You need to think and write the template for AI. You will be ahead of the rest of the pack. Let's hear what they say.
Pick a problem that you're most passionate about solving, go to ChatGPT and say, or Claude or Gemini and say, this is the problem I want to solve. Here's the data I have. Give me step-by-step instructions. Do not give me step number 2 until I tell you step number 1 is done. And just don't quit until you've actually built something. You really can't understand what AI is capable of until you've built on your own. And when you do, you will feel empowered because it's going to create a lot of prosperity at the same time. And I think it's important just to lean into that.
Empowered. You need to get to be empowered by this technology. I'll talk about the public sector transformation that AI brings into it, especially in South Africa, where service delivery, people talk of service delivery, it's a problem. It's a problem because we haven't embraced AI. We are still running away from AI. The top is, The top, this is the scenario that is happening now, that we are saying we lack service delivery. Even sometimes we employ very learned person. If they are still in third AI, they will fail. It is important to come to the AI era and work with it. anomaly is detected so early, before the people realize that there is going to be problem of water. Repairs are done, purchase of resources are done early, and repairs are done, and people will never see that there was a problem. Because how do you buy a valve before you know that it is going to be a problem? You wait until it's dead, and you then try to find the cause. You find it's a valve. The valve is not in South Africa, it's in China. And you can only be told it will be repaired in 2 weeks' time. We are again guessing to say from China, the ship will arrive here in 2 weeks' time. If you go to AI, it will tell you exactly, predict what is happening with ships that are coming from that direction to this direction in time. I think we have talked about the fear of having data lying all over, and AI. The problem is with AI, as much as I've talked much about AI, the good of it, the problem with AI now, it's opacity. Opacity in AI system complicates the accountability and erodes institutional legitimacy. You don't know how this AI technology has taken this decision. So if you don't know, fear comes to say, how did it, because it's autonomous. The human, we have removed the human. In all this, we are doing, we're talking about AI, we need to make sure that the human is within the loop. The core need is, trust requires transparency. The core, people must trust the system. And how do they trust a system? If it is transparent, it can explain, and it's reliable. I have smart bulbs at home. I tell them what time to start and what time to switch off. I then come one day when they are supposed to be off, and I find the whole house is. It means the trust goes. And the next thing my wife will tell me, I remove this rubbish. So if that switching on and off can be explained, and why they are still on can also be explained to her that there was an intruder, she'll again say, I think these lights are good, keep them. Trust. As I have said, these systems are capable of producing text, code, analytical outputs that can influence decision-making processes. However, their opacity raises concern about accountability and trust. The trust in digital system is built on 3 key principles: transparency, explainability, and reliability. To ensure responsible use of AI, institutions must adopt a governance mechanism such as, so you will see, such as explainability, audit trail. I will not go through. I think those are the most important thing for people to have trust in AI. Now, remember, we've started knowledge, capacity, but without impact. If all this that I've said up to now, people don't see the impact, people don't see service delivery improving, people don't see, then there's nothing that we have done. So I will not go much into that. Ultimate goal of academic work is impact. Impact is achieved when research moves beyond theoretical contribution, addresses real-world challenges. My research trajectory has focused on bridging the gap between theory and practice by developing frameworks and systems that respond to institutional needs. Impact is also strengthened through collaboration. So we collaborate in our group with government, private sector, and communities. We also do community service. When they see the impact, they believe in us. But the most important thing, who is Zuva himself? The Zuva framework. I want to believe my kids, you didn't know about the Zuva framework until now. As I have said, knowledge without capacity remains unused. Contribution to knowledge without capacity, people being empowered, it remains unused. Capacity without impact lacks purpose. What is the purpose? Impact without ethics can be harmful. That's why we have made sure that ethics, we teach ethics to our students. Whatever you are doing, make sure that you have embedded ethics. From knowledge formation, capacity, to impact, embed ethics. What is the road ahead? Scholar agenda. So we, as a group in research, we are going to move towards ethical AI governance. We need to be able to develop bespoke regulatory frameworks specifically tailored to the unique infrastructural and cultural constraints of developing contexts. Digital twin modeling, deploying predictive analytics models specifically within health and municipal service system to drive anticipatory governance. We hope this one, if taken seriously, there will be change in terms of service delivery. Accelerated capacity. Supercharging postgraduate human capital development strictly aligned with strategic 4IR national priorities. It is important. I wish one of my daughters was here. She talks to generative AI. She asked me question, and she says, but Chat said, I have to convince her to say, I know. But Chat does not know your family setup. For me, I've looked in our family, the setup. So what I'm giving you now, as much as Chat has given you part of the solution, but from the human side, because Chat can say, go to your friend and say, I'm no longer part of you. I'm choosing another one who likes school, not you. And I say, why not talk to your friend and say, can we start again? Put what you want together and see if you align. Chat does not tell you, it doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have the human capacity of seeing your surrounding. But I always tell you, don't forget your chat. It can summarize all the notes that your teacher has given you. It can tell you the questions that your teacher might bring. If you put some of the questions that the teacher gave you, it will give you more. So when you go to write, you know everything. And I'm glad she listened, and she is doing very well. Now, she will compete with someone who is disadvantaged without the digital resources. It means the divide widens. Institutions must see how we can bridge the gap. We have got students coming from rural areas. When they come to VUT, what are we doing to reduce the gap? Or we are still telling them generative AI is bad, and they look sideways because they haven't tried it. They've been told, you're copying, when they are supposed to be told how to use generative AI for their good. Professorship is stewardship. Build knowledge that is rigorous, develop capacity that is sustainable, create impact that is ethical and inclusive. I think. Thank you. Questions?
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the professor. He is professing. He says 4IR is scary, but you have to imbue it with ethics so that it can be inclusive. When you have 3,000 plus citations and more than 300 accredited articles and more than 60 postgraduate students under your wing. It tells you that work is being done. Intellectual work is being done. Isn't that so? So, ladies and gentlemen, the importance of an inaugural is that you always bring in the right of rebuttal. So I was told I was use technology. So one of the colleagues is trying to tell me something. Yeah. And, but now my technology is failing me. Something has happened. Prof Zuva, what did you do? I just hope your bots have not come here. Okay, thanks so much. Oh, is it here? Yeah. So the rebuttal, or colloquially we call it the response, it comes from another academic in the field, in the discipline. So without any further ado, we have in our midst a respondent to the inaugural address by another professor, Professor Topside Matonsi. He is the associate professor and head of department, of the IT department, need I say, so that you understand this is within the discipline. You know, he didn't bring someone from theology, pardon the pastors. You know, so he brings someone actually from the field to respond. Over to you, Prof. Matonsi.
Good evening, distinguished guests, colleagues, students, members of the academic community, all protocol observed. It is both an honor and a privilege to respond to Prof Zuva's lecture in today's session. Becoming a professor, it's not only a mere just publications, as he has captured in his work or in his presentation. It is both a reflection of knowledge creation, capacity development, and a societal impact. So it is an honor for me to respond to his lecture, which is grounded in thoroughness, relevance, and responsibility. I am Topside Ehleketan Matonsi. I'm an associate professor with Tshwane University of Technology. When I was doing my master's, Prof Zuva was part of the DRC. He used to ask us difficult questions. So I will not be too long. I have tried to shorten my response because I was not sure in terms of time of how long should I be presenting my response. So first thing that I want to just appreciate in terms of his work, as I've indicated initially, that his work presents a powerful and also a cohesive intellectual framework centered within 3 pillars. Why these 3 pillars are very important in our field? Knowledge creation, as we've indicated, is not just a mere doing research, we shelf it in the library. Knowledge creation is creating an academic ecosystem so that when Prof Zuva is no longer here, resting with his family, VUT still continues to have a lot of publications. So that's part of knowledge creation, which is very, very important to ensure that we generate new knowledge that sustain the university and also the country as at a large. In terms of capacity development, as he has indicated, these resonate very well with me. As I've indicated, that Prof Zuva was part of a DRC that asks questions when you present your proposal, when you want to be admitted in your postgraduate studies. In terms of capacity development, Prof Zuva has left TUT, but in the department where he was working on, and my department, so there are 2 departments that forms one DRC, which is Computer System Engineering and the Department of Information Technology. We have taken what he has groomed us to do, and we are continuing to produce more. I believe it is what he's also doing here at VUT. So it is very, very important that when we do research, we also do capacity development so that we can have multiple supervisors that can be able to allow or help the institution to accept more students. Because in nowadays, you'll find that universities don't take a lot of students because they have less number of supervisors. But if you have a proper framework that assists in terms of capacity development, then it becomes a good process. In terms of societal impact, as I've indicated, and as you have also seen in his research, it is what I was looking for, to see what it is that his research, it is assisting at the larger community. It is very, very important that the research that we do, it assists the community. Because if we just do research for the sake of doing research, for the sake of having a publication, when we are gone, will not be remembered by anyone, because we will not have added value to the community. So it is very, very important that the research that we do, it aligns with the problems, or it solves the problems of the community. So on that, in terms of my response, Prof Zuva and your team, you are on the right track. As I continue with my response to Prof Zuva, it is very, very important in this 4th industrial revolution that when we do research, it is not just about technological advancement, but it should be about a fusion of systems that refines how we work, how we live, and also how we govern. And I have seen that in Prof Zuva's presentation. So my response to that, it is a well-structured, a well-positioned research that assists the community. Why do we say that? The critical question that we believe it has to be addressed is that how do we harness these intelligent systems that he was talking about in order or while ensuring ethical governance, inclusivity, and also sustainability. This is very, very important. So this is what I appreciate Prof Zuva's lecture. In my response, I like this because it helps the country like ours, which is part of the developing countries, to be able to bring a lot of opportunities using the 4IR revolution that can help us to be able to improve in certain processes. It's either within schools, universities, or in municipalities. He has touched a lot in municipalities, because we have a lot of challenges that are happening there. This issue of water, it's not happening only here. So in terms of using this fourth industrial revolution, where we can be able to use AI to be able to detect water leakages in the network distributing system of the water, it can be able to help the community. So that's where the impact comes in of his research. So I like that he also touched in that space. In terms of also ethical governance, I'm also happy in terms of that. So it is important. And he has also questioned us in terms of the risk that comes with applying this technological in our daily lives. So in a nutshell, in terms of how we can use fourth industrial revolution to assist our communities, to assist our school children, our learners, and also the university at large, we believe Prof Zuva and his team are in the right direction. Prof Zuva spoke about knowledge creation. It is very, very important that it goes beyond theory. Why do we say so? It has to integrate socio-technical system thinking so that it can be able to improve the technological advancements, where we can be able to also use machine learning and also predictive analytics in our systems. I can just give an example. If there is a network down here during registration time, how long does it take for the technical team or the network technicians to fix the problem? It might take them 30 minutes. Then the learners might leave without registering if they are in campus. We can be able to use machine learning to be able to do check in the system. So I like that Prof Zuva touched on how we can use AI and machine learning to be able to ensure that we improve our systems. In organizations, in government, in municipalities, it takes time for them to be able to implement things. But with AI, it can be able to be fast-tracked. So we like that, Prof Zuva, you touched on this space. In terms of ethical consideration, it is very, very important that he also touched on it. So in terms of our response, we are also happy with that because we have seen students who don't want to think or do anything. They just rely on AI. But when you try and engage with them, there is nothing here. So it is very, very important that even when you use this AI to help you with certain things, you need to have done the groundwork, as Prof Zuva had said. So in terms of our response, we are also happy that he has also touched on the ethical consideration when we are using this AI, so that we can be able to build a new Prof Zuvas that can be able to take the university forward. So it means they are not relying on AI only. They use AI to help them to refine whatever they have done. So we are happy Prof Zuva has touched on this. In terms of capacity development, we need to understand as a research community that when we do research, it has to have an element of capacity development. That's why we have co-supervisors, which are supposed to be developed. That's why in our response, we are happy that Prof Zuva has also touched on this capacity development, because it helps to position the institution into a better future. Why do we say so? Because postgraduate supervision is not just a mere administrative work of signing the forms, the progress forms. No. It is about training the next generation that can be able to take the university forward. So in our response to that, we are happy, because this is not only benefiting the university, it is assisting to build as it is one of our nation-building priorities, so that we can be able to have the intellectual transfer to our upcoming academics. So in addition to that, we know that each graduate represents a contributor to a knowledge, to a future leader, and also a custodian of these technological systems that are going to be developed. So that forms part of Prof Zuva's framework, which we are also happy that he has also touched on this. In terms of using AI and also in the public sector transformation, Prof Zuva has touched on a number of platforms or areas where we can be able to use AI to be able to achieve certain things in the community, where we can be able to use AI for predictive maintenance. We have already touched on this, where we can be able to use this technology to be able to assist our municipalities to be able to improve their services by predicting where problems might occur at what time, at what year. So in terms of our response, we are also happy that his research also looks in this space so that it can provide a good impact to the community. When we use these technological advancements, such as AI, we can be able to optimize our resources, such as colleagues. Instead of them taking 30 minutes to find the fault if there is a network down, they can be able to use this time to assist more students, because AI will have used its capabilities to be able to predict when the problem will occur. This will also assist in the public sector to improve the service delivery. It means instead of us going to strike, we can be able to use the time to do something which can assist us. So in terms of our response, we are very happy with Prof Zuva's presentation in this case. However, he has also mentioned that we need to also look at the ethical governance, transparency, and also accountability of these systems as we adopt them into our environments. That is very, very key. We need to also train the people who are going to use these systems, because we have seen a number of environments. So that's part, it's something that can also be considered, that to train the people who are using these systems, because when you are just given a system, you are not trained on it, it becomes a challenge in the near future. So in our response, we have added that it can be something that can also be considered as part of his project and his team. So, but in a nutshell, in terms of how AI and public sector in terms of how AI can be used to improve the public sector, we are happy with that, because it helps us to move from just building intelligent system to where we can be able to build systems that are intelligent, but with a governance framework in it, because we'll have been able to train the people who are going to use those systems. So that is very, very important. In terms of using generative or governance in the era of generative AI, his talk also touched or looked into how AI can be explainable. This is very, very important. Why do we say so? It's because if these systems are not explainable, how are you going to trust them? How are you going to also govern them? Because these systems, they also need to be governed. So it is very, very important that we also look at that. And also in terms of human in the loops. So there are certain decisions that these systems, when they make, you need to have a human in the loop also to make a final decision. For example, if we all here apply for a loan, if all our credit score are clear, and there are certain things that were reported about us, but the system is not aware. It means the bank can give me a 1 million, and I might not be able to pay it. So that's why we need a human into the system. The system will be able to generate my profile. However, before they approve, somebody has to be able to check and verify whatever is being given out as an output from the system. So we are happy Prof Zuva also touched on including humans into the loops in this intelligent system so that there can be accountability and also auditability at the end of the day. So that we can also be able to understand why these certain outputs or these results came about. That's where explainable AI also comes in. In terms of the impact from research to society, it is very, very important that we strive towards Prof Zuva's framework. Why so? Because in academia, we work to bridge the theory and the application so that we can be able to assist the community. So that we can be able to also use these technologies that we have developed in the real world or to solve real world challenges. And I'm happy Prof Zuva touched on service delivery, which means his research is engaging with the real world challenges. So in terms of our response, we are happy. Prof Zuva also touched on collaboration across sectors. Why is this very important, or why we are also happy with his research touching on this? It's because what, as academics, we might think it is a problem. To the real world, it might not be a problem. So we are happy that he's collaborating with MI-CETA that can also bring real-world challenges that some of their clients are facing. Then his students or his team can be able to solve those challenges. So his research, it is on the right track, and we are happy with what he's doing. Why, in addition to that, we are also happy in terms of his research? It's because in areas like South Africa, where we are in developing countries, this can also assist us to improve our economies, public sector system, and also develop community-driven innovation. We have seen research that can assist communities, but because communities initially were not involved, that becomes a challenge. So we believe as Prof Zuva and his team continue, they will also continue to develop technologies or intelligence systems that are community-driven. In terms of his scholarly vision and the future direction, we are also happy in terms of our response to his work. Why are we happy? His research touches, or his future research direction touches a very important three elements, which is both strategic and forward-thinking. Why are we saying it's strategic and both forward-thinking? Ethical AI governance, it is very, very important. As he has indicated that we can have these intelligence systems, but if then we are not using them ethically, it means it's going to create problems. We are seeing the application of using digital twins in the public systems. It did not go much into this, but I can try and elaborate so that we can be able to understand why he's projecting or going into this direction. It is because when you have digital twin systems, you can be able to mimic the real world network infrastructure, test conditions and challenges that can occur in a real world before you deploy these AI technologies within that controlled environment. So this also assists, and it also builds trust into the public sector that what is being done at VUT, it is reliable. So that's why in our response to Prof Zuva's presentation, we are also happy developing AI-driven institutional optimization solutions. He has already indicated how some of these tools can be used to assist some of the students to be able to push their research. Previously, when you do a PhD, you had to do it for 5 years or maybe 6 years, but nowadays, you can be able to do research in a PhD level within 3 years, because you can be able to have tools that can be able to assist you. And we are happy his team is also focusing on this. He has also touched on how these technological or these intelligence systems can be used to accelerate our postgraduate development. So in our response to his future vision in terms of research, we think it is both strategic and forward-looking. As I close, or going very close to the end of my presentation, Prof Zuva's presentation reminded us that fourth industrial revolution is not just a technological journey alone. It is a human, ethical, and a societal journey, because as academics, our responsibility, it is very clear, and Prof Zuva has touched on that, to produce knowledge that is rigorous, to develop capacity that is sustainable, so that we can have other emerging researchers in the next few years that can also be able to produce over 200 publications in DEAD accredited journals, and also have more than what Prof Zuva has now as their citation index, because that shows that the research community responds or engage with Prof Zuva's work and his team. So in terms of that, Prof Zuva, we are also happy in terms of our response. In terms of developing capacity that is sustainable to assist the country and also the university to move forward, your framework that you presented towards the end of your presentation, it is something that I wish TUT will also adopt when I leave here, because it's something that can be able to assist us to increase our capacity, to ensure that our work has an impact in terms of inclusive and also in terms of ethical. Prof Zuva, as I close my presentation, on the behalf of the academic community, I would like to extend my sincere congratulations on your remarkable milestone. Your work stands as a testimony to scholarly excellence, intellectual leadership, societal commitment, and we also look forward to your contributions in shaping the research, the policy, and the practice in the fourth industrial revolution era. As I close, the true legacy of a professor is not only in what they discover, but in what they inspire, build, and transform. This can only be achieved through the framework that you have shown to us. I thank you.
Thank you, Prof Matonsi, for those response to our full professor. We heard him, he talks about the Zuva framework. So if you have not heard anything today or this evening, know that actually we know the Zuva framework and the 3 pillars of the framework. And colleagues, we only have 2 speakers, I can promise. But they told me that they will be really brief. In the recent past, I was sent to a conference, ACES conference, and one of the things that they discussed was around the issue of research for societal impact. And the idea was to come back to our own actual environments and see how we can, empower, researchers and scholars in this space. We will be engaging with the National Research Foundation because of their mandate, one of the largest research councils in the continent. And I'm raising this because it was supported by none other than the next speaker. The next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, has been trying behind the scenes to really reposition our institution with the view that when it comes to issues around scholarship of knowledge generation, that we begin to, if needs be, punch above our weight. That's what he told me. So, ladies and gentlemen, then I'm pleased to call upon the one and only DVC with the longest title at the university, as you like to refer it, the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Research, Innovation, Commercialization, and Innovation, Professor Nelana.
Good evening. There's something that I botch every time I give a speech, acknowledgement of people that are important. So I've been made, or someone made a copy for me to make sure that I don't really botch it today. So to those who think that I'm going to make a bad mistake of not mentioning their names, they are not today. Not today. Apparently, my name is also written on the same paper, so let me acknowledge myself. Professor Speech Nelana, DVC Ricky. My DVC, Professor Mr. Mahlalela, DVC Resources and Operations, I acknowledge you. Our professor, Professor Topside Matonsi, you prepared well, so he's not going to ask you questions today. You are a professor also, so you can always ask him questions. Prof Mafini, Executive Dean Management Sciences, acknowledge you. We've got a special guest, Dr. Boengile Mqhaji from Agon Assets. Welcome. In fact, I'm inclined to bring you to give us a masterclass in your field because we are rolling out a series of masterclasses at VUT. The next masterclass will be on AI. Prof Zuva, not you. Possibly Prof Matonzi will give at the masterclass. Last month, or if maybe possibly, or maybe earlier this month, we had a masterclass on IKS given by Professor Kambizi. So during the course of the year, there will be those masterclasses. So Dr. Mqhaji, be prepared to come to give us masterclass. Acknowledge you, Program Director, and also the project manager for this. He didn't acknowledge that. Can you give Mr. Mvalo a round of applause? Acknowledge Ms. Ndumelo Fele, Director Stakeholder Engagement, and her team. Family, look at me, family. Hi. I'm sure by now, I listened to Prof talking about his daughter. It appears that once in a while, or during the course of your dinner or lunch, there's discussion around for IR and AI. I acknowledge you. I want to actually relate a story. And I think Prof Zuva's wife reminded me at the time that we met. It must have been 2016. It was the year that I just started here as a director. We had research awards. I think they were hosted at Emerald Casino. Mrs. Zelda, our lady who actually does manage events, had seen the name of Tranos Zuva. And that name sounded very important to her. Prof Zuva was just new to the university. He was just attending the awards. But for some reason, because of his name, he was ushered to the VIP table. And in fact, he actually bounced me off that table because of his name. And I said, who's that guy? I know that guy. He's Prof Zuva. He can't be sitting there. But I'm happy now, Prof Zuva, you can go to the VIP table. You have earned it. At that time, we didn't know what you have done. All people that are here are acknowledged colleagues, but Prof Zuva, we acknowledge you. We acknowledge you for one reason. When we were discussing, planning this with Mr. Mvalo and the team, we said, now who's going to be the first one? And you raised your hand and said, I want to start. Because I want to also relate a story about how, because of all the instability that has taken place in this institution, events of this nature actually fell by the wayside. If I remember, the last lecture that we had, inaugural lecture that we had, was in 2017. But because of instability and change in management, those things were not taken seriously. I'm happy that as we revive this, Prof Zuva, you're the first one to come. And you have set a bar high. Because I've sponsored this event, I will take all the time that I need, Prof. Mr. Vaal. My money is very valuable. Colleagues, let me go to my speech. It's very important that I actually speak from a script. And I'm going to take the same approach Prof. Zuva took in his speech, more relaxed. For some reason, I forgot my glasses to take them out and in and all that, and also try to have some videos to keep you kind of excited. Good evening. It is a privilege and a moment of great institutional pride that to stand before you today as we gather to celebrate a significant academic milestone, the inaugural address of Professor Tranos Zuva. Today is not about marking a personal achievement. It is about recognizing intellectual leadership, scholarly contribution, and the responsibility that comes with shaping future knowledge in our institution, our country, and indeed our continent. Professor Zuva represents a rare combination of depth of scholarship, breadth of experience, and relevance to societal needs. As reflected in his address, his work spans critical domains such as mobile computing, computer vision, data mining, information systems, and ethical AI governance. These are not abstract academic pursuits. These are engines of fourth industrial revolution. And more importantly, they are tools through which we must address real societal needs and challenges, such as unemployment, inequality, and economic exclusion. With a career spanning over 30 years and 30 years of contribution, Professor Zuva embodies what we as a university aspire to. Knowledge that is not produced but applied. Research that does not sit on shelves but transform lives. I think I need to repeat that one. With over 30 years of academic contribution, Professor Zuva embodies what we as a university aspire to. Knowledge that is not only produced but applied. Research that does not sit on shelves but transform lives. For example, Prof Zuva has developed a system that our HR is exploring in HR recruitment. MICT CETA is actually using that system for their recruitment. So you can see about, actually that proves that his research doesn't only sit on shelves, it transforms lives. There are other things that he has done. I think I need to maybe focus on what inaugural addresses are about. They are not only just ceremonial endpoints. their declaration of intellectual intent, I think they answered three critical questions. What does the professor stand for in terms of knowledge? What problems does he or she want to solve? And also, what legacy do they want to leave behind? Reflecting on today's theme, building knowledge, capacity, and impact in the Industrial Revolution, I think this is both timely and urgent. Because we're living in a moment where technology is advancing faster than policy. Innovation is outpacing inclusion. He has told you about if you're going to wait forever, by the time you do something, you'll find that already someone has done it. And knowledgeable risk becoming disconnected from impact. The fourth industrial revolution is not coming, it is already here. I remember Mr. Mvalo, our former DVC, Professor Peter Zwimbo. He believed in this. He bought people books of Carl Schwab at the time, and most of us used to laugh at him, but I think now we can't laugh anymore because I think he was actually seeing something. Artificial intelligence, data ecosystems, automation, and digital platforms are redefining how we work. Prof Zuva mentioned that, how we learn, and also Prof Matones also touched on that, on how economies function. But let us be clear, the real question is not whether we participate in the fourth industrial revolution. The question is whether we shape it or are shaped by it. Because Prof Zuva told us that as much as this phenomenon can transform lives, we need to manage it. I think that's what the term uses. You can do all these things. At the end, we need to take care of it. For us as VUT, this moment demands a shift from teaching to learning for relevance, from research to research for impact. I'm repeating all those things that were said, but because I'm a DVC, I can do that. Innovation to innovation for inclusion. I can't resist to focus on capacity. The fact that Prof Matones is here is about capacity development, and I'm hearing that he reflected on that. And maybe that for some reason, we are lucky to bring in someone to respond to a mentor, to critique the mentor's work. That is, to me, progressive. Capacity is not only about degrees, it's about capability. We must ask, are we equipping our students to solve real-world problems? Are we preparing academics to lead in innovation and commercialization? Are we building systems that support research translation into societal impact? Professor Zuva's work speaks directly to this. Through his supervision, publications, I didn't know some of the data that was presented. I have to confirm that. 3,000 citations. I need to check that. But ChatGPT must tell me. Before I sit down, someone should have checked that. But I trust you, Prof. You've been my friend for all these years. Through his supervision publications, he has contributed to human capital development. I think he mentioned about 60 students. Some of them are here. I see Professor Dr. Brown here. Research capacity strengthening, the fact that he's participating in the management of research in the faculty, and also digital transformation in education and society. Prof Zuva, this is the type of academic leadership we must scale across this institution. It mustn't end with you. In fact, Mr. Farai will tell you that Mancom were grappling with the issue of what do we want VUT to be known for last week as part of our leadership program. One of the things that we spent almost 2 hours discussing was identification of niche areas, not from speech, Nelana's perspective, from Mancom. The contribution was not coming from speech. Of course, since I'm an expert, I was leading the discussion. But we came to your field, and we got to a realization that you are alone. we have failed you. In the sense that we saw something going on, but we didn't put enough resources to sustain you. If anything was to happen, God forbid, your efforts will be lost. So that's the thing that we discussed last week, that can we have capacity that is grounded or anchored on something? I just want to talk about the vision of VUT. At VUT, we are deliberate in positioning ourselves as a university that converts research into relevance and innovation into measurable economic participation. We are strengthening our technology transfer and commercialization pipeline. You will see during the course of the next few weeks that we are participating in a huge program that is organized by EmpowerWorks on technology transfer and commercialization, where everyone is expected to participate. We're trying to build innovation platforms and incubators. We're in the process of securing about 5 million rands from the Department of Small Business Development to have a center of entrepreneurship in our Science Park campus. That is something that we are talking about. It can't be just about we're going to do this, going to do this. We must say something that we can take to the bank. Another thing that we must strive for, or we're trying to strive for, is the alignment of our research outputs with national development priorities. That's why now our KPIs have gone beyond just the number of outputs. Our KPIs speak to the number, the percentage of outputs contributing to applied research, industrial participation, community engagement, and innovation. So that those KPIs now become more qualitative than quantitative. As I'm about to finish, I think we organize these events to inspire for those who are emerging researchers. I want to say this. Let today inspire you. Because the journey of Professor Zuva reminds us that excellence is built over time. Impact is intentional. And leadership is earned through contribution. Do not pursue knowledge for qualification alone. Pursue it for transformation. The future belongs to those who can think critically, innovate boldly, and apply knowledge meaningfully. Coming to you, my friend. Professor Zuva, today we celebrate you. But we also place a responsibility upon you. As a full professor and research leader, you are a mentor, a thought leader, a builder of future scholars, a driver of institutional impact. Then it means that your work must continue to inspire, challenge, and elevate our academic project. As I conclude, let me conclude with this thought. The fourth industrial revolution will not be defined by technology alone. It will be defined by how we use knowledge to advance humanity. And universities like VUT must stand at the center of that mission. Prof Zuva, on behalf of the University Council, management, chancellor, and everyone in the university, we congratulate you on this milestone. We honor you, we honor your contribution. We look forward to the continued impact of your work. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Fast, not so fast, Prof. Nalana. I think the brief, you didn't actually get the full brief. So we'll be giving a negative assessment mark. Prof Nelana, could you do the honors? Or Prof Zuva as well? I know the family is tired of these certificates. You know, last August, was it August? He came with 3 during the research awards. So he's bringing another one. And if I was listening well, he was now challenging the family, you know, to exceed actually his achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, then, whilst we're going to call the last speaker, who is standing between you and you know what. But also we do know now who carries the secrets of the Zuva family. Prof Nelana mentioned 2017, and now it's 9 years down the line in 2026, and we are doing what we are doing. And I can tell you, without no fear of contradiction, that between now, Prof Zuva, you are our trailblazer. Between now and the end of November, we will be having these events at the university every month, without fail. And if needs be, we will not have a holiday in December. How's that? You know, because really we want to see to it that we honor the colleagues who have really done exceptionally well in this space, but also to demonstrate to them that the university really appreciates actually their contribution to this university. But if we, by end of this November, we have not finished I'm looking at 3 of the full professors in the room, you know, so if you haven't raised your hand, please talk to me during lunch, during dinner. If we have not finished, colleagues, we will then have more of these in the first and the second quarter. And then there will be a fresh call for promotions thereafter. And then we will have normalized inaugural lectures for the university going forward. Can I then call on Ndade Farirai? I can see he's still actually making some few points. But he told me that he will be done within 60 seconds. That he will then do the closing remarks. Please come through. Please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Farirai. I'm the ED for Strategy in the Office of the Vice Chancellor. So one of the things probably that have not been mentioned is the fact that Professor Nelana is actually the acting Vice Chancellor at the moment. The Vice Chancellor is not around. So in that case, the Vice Chancellor is represented. The Vice Chancellor is here today because he is the acting Vice Chancellor. Distinguished guests, Prof Nelana, of course, DVC for Ricky and the acting Vice Chancellor. Mr. Mahlalela, the DVC for Resources and Operations. Prof Matonzi, our respondent and professor from TUT. Professor Zuva's family, Prof Chengedzai, Mafini, Executive Dean, Management Sciences, Ms. Ndumilu Fele, Director for Stakeholder Engagement, And of course, our program director, Mr. George Mbalo, the Director for Social Justice and Transformation. And of course, our distinguished professor, Professor Zuva. Prof Zuva, you know, I just felt that, you know, there are two things that you mentioned that sort of, you know, stood out for me amongst the many other things that you said, where you said supervision is actually part, I'm paraphrasing, part of creating the next generation of academics and researchers. And the second point, again paraphrasing, where you said professorship is stewardship. That caught my mind because it actually relates to the vision and mission of the Vaal University of Technology. The vision of the Vaal University of Technology is learning and innovation for a digitally smart and sustainable industrial progress and socio-economic transformation. That's the vision of Vaal University of Technology. And the mission, it says, our mission is to develop techno-entrepreneurial graduates and innovators who will drive a vibrant transformation of a flourishing and sustainable society and commerce. So all this and all the things I think that you have explained, they are embraced in our values. The values of the university is excellence, creativity, ethic of care, collegiality, integrity, and diversity. And when admittedly, I'm relatively new at VUT, so I didn't even also know you. But out of the work that I've seen that you have done, I can see that you embrace all the values, mission, and vision of the university. And with that, I just want to say I'm really humbled, and I think as the university community, we feel very blessed, encouraged, and inspired to have a visionary person like yourself. So let me also now go back to the written speech, like Prof Nelana did. It is with great pleasure that I rise to offer heartfelt congratulations to you, Professor Zuva, on this remarkable inaugural address. Today's lecture was not only intellectually enriching, but also inspiring. You have articulated with clarity and conviction the agents of equipping our institutions, our students, and our societies with the knowledge and skills required to thrive in an era defined by rapid technological advancement. Your insights remind us that the fourth industrial revolution is not merely about technology, it is about innovation and transformative power of education. Your commitment to building capacity and driving meaningful impact stands as a beacon for all of us in academia and beyond. You have challenged us to think more boldly, collaborate more intentionally, and act more decisively in shaping a future that is inclusive, ethical, and sustainable. And I would also like to take a sincere appreciation to the organizers of this event. As the Deputy Vice Chancellor has indicated, you know, events like this are vital in fostering dialogue, sharing knowledge, and strengthening our collective vision. Your dedication and meticulous planning have ensured that a seamless and memorable occasion, providing a platform for such important conversation take place. And for that, I would want to thank Marketing and Communication under the leadership of Ms. Lufele for a truly successful event. So as we celebrate this milestone, we also look forward with anticipation to the continued contributions that Professor Zuva will make in advancing scholarship, innovation, and societal progress. We honor you, we respect you, we are thankful to having you, Professor. With those words, ladies and gentlemen, I also just want to thank all of us who have made this day a special day today. And also, we must thank our program director, who has, I think, seamlessly and smoothly navigate, the coordination of us and kindly telling us in not so loud a way, but very loudly, that we must keep to time. We have heard you, program director. We are going, ladies and gentlemen, into the holidays, the Easter holidays. Most of us, I think we might also be traveling. Please be safe on the roads and take care of each other. Minimize traveling because petrol prices have just shot up. And enjoy the holidays with your families. Thank you.
Colleagues, just a few announcements, but let's also acknowledge the sound system. Our colleagues who are there, they are doing a fantastic work. This event is being actually broadcast live online for posterity. So we really, truly thank you and the work that you are doing there. And also we thank our caterers. And ladies and gentlemen, I've just been told that I'm fired in terms of the work that I do here, but my day job actually is safe. We will then, there will be, we are requested to remain seated. Lunch will be served. There will be people actually who will usher in, I'm told, the table with the 2 red jackets, gowns, will be the first one, and you know why. And the table to my right, I'm told they're the partners in crime, so they have to be, brought together. Colleagues, my work is done, and you have been a wonderful audience, and dinner is served. Thank you.